they're making big dollars. And, do we have to be paying these salaries for all these people? I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, like, this is eye-opening at how much where this money goes. And $46 million in advertising costs, which I don't know, like, why? Why do we need, hey, Association of Realtors? Who cares, right? I mean, like, what's it doing for us? What is that advertisement doing for us?
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt. That is Shawn, and welcome to our show. Shawn, in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the National Association of Realtors President resignation after a New York Times expose. We're going to be talking about the tens of thousands of Airbnbs that are going to be outlawed in New York City. And then we're also going to be talking about in or out, whether Shawn battles in or out on 3 properties across the United States. Shawn, let's start with essentially breaking news earlier this week, and that is that NAR, National Association of Realtors President, is stepping down after a shocking New York Times article came out that alleged rampant assault, sexual assault, misconduct by the National Association of Realtors President Kenny Parcell. 29 women came forward and alleged misconduct, mistreatment, assault, all the above. And NAR had an emergency meeting, and then it came out later that Kenny Parcell resigned. So NAR is essentially in shambles right now, and I think everything they stand for is in shambles. And it's got the industry buzzing because, for me, it just reiterated everything I thought about NAR is true. Not that I think that everyone there is like a sexual assaulter, but that they have no morals and they have no grounds and they're not actually doing anything.
Yeah.
And I think the public thinks that real estate agents don't do anything, and real estate agents think that NAR doesn't do anything. And now it comes out that behind the scenes, NAR has horrific a culture that allows horrific misconduct. So, Shawn, we're going to get into this. And what were your thoughts when you saw that the president of the National Association of Realtors, the largest trade group in the entire nation with over 1.5 million members, the president had to resign after 29 women came forward?
I was pissed off. And I think every realtor out there should be pissed off. Just so you guys know, there's real estate agents that don't have to subscribe to NAR, National Association of Realtors, but we as real estate agents, realtors, we go to a higher level. We subscribe to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, which holds us to an ethical standard. And it's unreal that we are held to an ethical standard, and our president of this association can't hold himself to his own ethical standard. It's disgusting. And I mean, this is another thing about our industry that is just hitting us in the face. We hold ourselves to a standard. I do this professionally every day for 20 years. I have been a member of this association for 20 years. I've paid a lot of dues to this association every year, and this is how they conduct themselves. Meanwhile, we're out here sweating hard, trying to sell properties, trying to get things done, holding ourselves to our own ethical standards, your ethical standards, NAR's ethical standards, and you guys are just crapping on us all. This is something that is unreal to me. I can't believe that this was happening, and it was happening probably for a long time. If 29 people come out about sexual assaults in this, that's pretty bad. And that means it's been going on a long time. And thankfully, something was done, but unfortunately, something was done far too late. And this is the president of the association. This is the highest guy out there in the association, and he had to resign because of this. It's awful.
Reading from the article, NAR and Parcell faced scrutiny in June when Janelle Brevard, a former NAR employee, said she was fired after ending a consensual relationship with Parcell. Brevoort said she wasn't the only woman to have a relationship with Parcell. However, she was the only one to lose her job. Something Brevoort said happened because she's black. Brevoort dropped the suit in June and received a settlement of $107,000. So, Shawn, you've been paying a lot of dues. I think we know where your dues are going to. It's going to all the lawsuits that NAR has to settle between current employees, former employees, and commission lawsuits that are going on, which, by the way, NAR is essentially losing the battle on a lot of these buyer broker commission settlements, lawsuits, as we're going to find out in the next couple of years. But if the president, who, by the way, his bio is still on National Association of Realtors, it touts him as a family man. It touts his service with the church. So it paints this rosy picture. And meanwhile, he's assaulting 29 women. Allegedly. Now, he did come out with a resignation letter, which, by the way, don't know how he's able to resign. Shouldn't he have been fired?
Yeah.
But, they give him the opportunity to resign. So his letter in full says, this letter serves as my resignation as the president of the National Association of Realtors. Being elected to this position has been a highlight in my career. My resignation comes after a series of accusations against me that are categorically false. I am deeply troubled by those looking to tarnish my character and mischaracterize my well-intended actions. During this experience, I've opened myself to listening and looking for ways to improve myself, but all I can do is tell the truth. I've been shocked by these false accusations, hurtful words, whispers, and character assassination. Putting the organization and the brand first comes with the title of president. Leadership is about making tough choices. This resignation signifies that I will put the organization's needs first to move forward above my own personal needs to stay in this position. I truly appreciate the support and true friendships that I've made during my volunteering at NAR. So a lot to go off of there. First of all, categorically false. So he's saying 29 people are making false accusations. That's how I'm interpreting that. At the end of the letter, he says, I value the true friendships that I've made during my volunteering at NAR. Are you suggesting that because you've maybe volunteered in your past at NAR that this is now, we should have sympathy for you? I don't understand where the volunteering is coming in.
There's no volunteering. He's making a salary. That's not voluntary. That's, you know what I mean? Like, you're making money. We're paying your dues. Now we're paying your court costs. And here's the thing. All right, they're accusations, so we don't know that this actually happened. Some could be false. Maybe they're all false. I doubt it if there's 29. But listen, you got to be careful on that regard. But if this is all true, first of all, I want my $100 and some $1,000 back, right? You pay it. We shouldn't have to as realtors. That shouldn't go to our dues. We paid your salary, then it comes out of your salary, not our dues that we're paying into an association. That now we're getting hit double on that. And not only that, not only were there sexual allegations, there was pressuring, right? There were a lot of pressure from people saying, oh, I can't say this, I can't say that, or I had to do this because, or when the allegations came up, they were pressured to withdraw that allegation or go to settlement or whatever it was. So that's not right. It shouldn't be happening, and the fact that it's happening to an organization that we all trusted to have our best interest at hand, it's just, it's a slap in the face,
So, Mr. Parcell, he's going to be innocent until proven guilty. He's already guilty in the court of public opinion.
Yeah.
I think we can agree on that. But there's a couple other important points that we should hit. Number one is, why are we members of NAR? And number two is, follow the money. Where's the money going to? So, Shawn,
always follow the money.
Number one, why are we members of the NAR? Why do we have to be a part of this trade organization? We are essentially forced to pay the dues and to kind of go along with the big ship, the mothership, if you will. And I don't really see what we're getting out of it. Maybe we're getting out the lobbying efforts of people in, whether it's Richmond or DC. Maybe we're getting out lobbying efforts, but why are we forced to be members of this trade organization to conduct business.
It's true. But the thing is, the lobbying isn't even part of our dues. We have to pay extra for lobbying.
Are we in a union? This isn't a union.
This isn't a union.
But we're forced to, this is like a quasi, like we're forced because we can't access the MLS. Don't we have to be a member of NAR to access the MLS?
I don't know.
Where does that come into play?
I don't know. And same thing with, there was something about lock boxes and, how does that play into? I got to be honest, I just pay my dues and I keep going. So I don't know if I know that there was real estate agents
But that's what people
were saying,
do. They just pay the dues and then they keep going.
Exactly, because that's what
no
we've
one
done
asks
forever.
any questions.
No one asks questions. Everything just keeps going. I never study. I'm busy, man. Like, I'm not looking into what these things are going for. I pay my $1,000, $1,100 a year or whatever it is, and it's gone, right? And then they ask you for lobbying stuff and, to help lobby and keep real estate, realtors active, whatever. But I honestly don't know what my dues go for. And yeah, it's right. It's like, why are we all subscribing to this? If we are held to an ethical standard, why, they're not held to it at the same regard.
Luckily, I know where your dues go towards.
Perfect.
So we're going to take an article from Now Bam. How much is NAR paying its executives and independent contractors? A breakdown of compensation from 2011 to 2021. So the NAR CEO as of 2021 was Bob Goldberg. He made $2.5 million. Other notables, Lawrence Yun, the chief economist, made $699,000 in 2021. And then Kenny Parcell, who was first vice president in 2021, made $164,000. The most interesting statistic, however, is independent contractor expenses for 2021 going to Havas Marketing Group for $46 million. They paid Havas Marketing Group $46 million. Have you seen NAR's Instagram profile? It is a disaster. Now, they allegedly have 299,000 followers. You want to know how many likes their last post got? It got 43.
Wow.
How do you get 43 likes when you have 299 followers? It's ridiculous. You paid Havas Marketing $46 million for fake followers. That's what you did. Yep. That's what happened. How do you pay this company $46,000? You shouldn't be paying this company $46,000, $46 million. You should be paying. Yeah, I didn't miss a comma there.
Million.
It's $46 million. We need to allocate the $46 million over to all these attorneys that are fighting for all these lawsuits that NAR is in. Because if you're paying $46 million, go pull up NAR's Instagram profile, and you'll be shocked with the results.
That's horrible. I mean, how many ads have you seen? I mean, I guess I see ads on TV.
Well, you do. It's like that's who we are.
Yeah.
And now if your president is allegedly committing all these sexual misconducts, that's not who we are.
Yeah. And not only that, the CEO's making $2-point-something million. Why? Why do we need him to make $2-point-something million? Why? These are high salaries, man. There's $960,000 government affairs. There's $912,000 Katie Johnson general counsel. I mean, these are big dollar. I mean, that's the lawyer general counsel.
General counsel. She needs to be making the big bucks.
Yeah, there you go. Lawrence Yun, he's super smart. The economist. Yeah, he's
Katie
making
Johnson
almost
is keeping us in business.
$700,000. I mean, Lawrence Yun is a very smart guy. But they're making big dollars, and do we have to be paying these salaries for all these people? I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying, this is eye-opening at how much where this money goes. And $46 million in advertising costs, which I don't know, why do we need? Hey, Association of Realtors, who cares, right? I mean, what's it doing for us? What is that advertisement doing for us?
So no, that's a great question, and I promise I'm getting to it. No real estate agent has ever watched the NAR ads and been like, I need to join this trade association. Right. It's clearly to customers. It's clearly to consumers. It's clearly to the buyer, the seller, who has a choice when they're buying and selling their house, and they're like, oh, I need to use a realtor. I need to use a realtor.
There you go.
I need to use someone that
How many times you hear realtor? Right?
I need to use someone that has the designations, all those 3-letter abbreviations at the end of their name that no one knows what they actually mean.
Yeah. How many listing appointments have you been on and they ask you, are you a realtor? You know, do you even know the difference between a real estate and a realtor? The only difference is that we're on an association.
I like the one where it's like, are you an accredited luxury home salesperson?
No.
Have you seen that one?
Yeah.
It's like,
they always come out with something else to get your money, right?
Yeah,
like,
well, it's
hey,
like,
be this designation, learn from this person.
It's like marketing professors in college that have never actually like started a business.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, the way you become a designated luxury sales expert is to actually sell luxury. You don't just take a weekend class, you know, down at NVAR, and that's how you become it. So I'm glad that this is going to have a lot of agents asking a lot of questions. It's terrible. It's so bad for everyone. It's obviously first bad for the victims. It's bad for NAR. You know, it's bad for Mr. Parcell, whether he's innocent or guilty. It's bad for everyone, but it does raise a lot of questions, and I hope people can start asking more questions and getting answers.
Well, and that's the thing is the members, you know, where's the oversight in NAR? Where is the oversight? We, I guess, as members have to have the oversight to watch what's going on. We are too busy as realtors not, you know, paying attention to what is actually going on and who's getting what at NAR. And so I don't know who's supposed to oversee it, but we better start and saying, hey, you know, we're going to start pulling out of this if you don't shape up and start spending the money the way that we want it to be spent. Because I don't think $46 million on a couple commercials is doing it. Why don't we save that money and put it into something else or lower our dues a little bit? You know, I don't think a commercial is really doing it for me. It's not doing me any good personally.
There's a lot of C-level people on this board here. There's a lot of people at the top of the ladder. Like you have the CEO, you have the president, you have the chief economist, chief financial officer, chief marketing, chief advocacy officer. I've never heard of chief advocacy officer before. Don't know what that is.
I don't know.
All right, well, let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Have you heard of this NAR story and what your thoughts are on the NAR situation? All right, Shawn, let's move on to another article from inman.com. Tens of thousands of Airbnb listings will be outlawed in New York City next week. Local Law 18, which requires short-term rental owners to register with the city, could siphon tens of millions of dollars in revenue from Airbnb when it goes into effect on September 5th in New York City. So, Shawn, let me paint you a picture. Airbnb came into all these cities with no regard, guns blazing, set up shop, and now the cities have finally turned around, realized what's happening, not only with maybe pressure from hotels or pressure from the general public saying, hey, housing's not affordable. By the way, it's never been affordable in New York City. And now a new law is passed that says that owners need to either rent out their property for a minimum of 30 days or share their apartment with travelers. So you can only rent out your property for 30 days, for a minimum of 30 days, or you have to, essentially share a living room with a tourist, which sounds terrible. So that will, in effect, get rid of thousands and thousands, and as the article says, tens of thousands. So of Airbnbs. In June of 2022, New York City passed Local Law 18, which required short-term renter owners to register with the city. And obviously, there haven't been too many units that have actually registered. The city has approved just 199 units that have applied under the new rules, and there appears to be a couple more thousand of applications in the works. So it's not going to get rid of Airbnbs totally, but AirDNA, a company that tracks the short-term rental industry, estimated that there were closer to 22,000 nightly rentals in New York City, meaning that 99% of listings are at risk of becoming illegal and unavailable after the day after Labor Day. So AirDNA usually has inflated numbers, but I would say, at least 15,000 nightly rentals that are going to disappear in New York City. So, Shawn, what are your thoughts on New York City, arguably the best city in the United States? I don't know if someone would disagree with that, but if you're from Europe, if you're from South America, if you're from Asia, Australia, what city do you want to go to? You're not saying, oh, I can't wait to go to Nashville, Tennessee. You're saying, like, I'm going to the Big Apple. So, Shawn, what are your thoughts on New York City essentially outlawing Airbnbs?
Oh, man, this is so big. This is there's a bunch of things I want to talk about, but number one, think about all the people that have purchased properties over the years for this intent. Their intent was to make money, make a profit. And
in New York City, though?
In New York City,
Come
of course,
on.
Everywhere. Why not?
Come on.
You don't think so?
I don't think people in New York City. When did Airbnb become a thing? 2017?
Yeah.
I don't think there's been a lot of people, but it's $1 million a bedroom in Manhattan. You know, maybe if we're talking Brooklyn or Queens, you're renting out a bedroom or renting out, but we're talking about one of the most expensive cities in the world.
Yeah, but think about what they're getting per night there, you know? Like this is a big dollar grab, right? I think whether it's they're buying them for it or they're using their personal residence for that because they're trying to make money. Look how expensive it is. Look how hard it is to pay the bills there. You need to supplement. If you're going to be gone, hey, let's Airbnb it, right? That's how things work. So if you want to squash a whole group of people that are relying on the income, then that's how you do it. Number two, follow the money. Like you said on the last time, why are these laws being changed? I mean, I understand it as a homeowner or a condo owner, why you would want to squash Airbnbs in your neighborhood or in your condo building, because let's face it, those people aren't always going to treat your property as in good regard. Like they're going to party, they're going to, just keep you up at night, whatever, and trash the place. They could. So I can understand it on that regard, but to outlaw it citywide is huge. And why are they outlawing it citywide? Who is pressuring? Is it, again, lobbyists, hotel lobbyists, lobbying the local government saying, hey, you need to stop this because we as hotels are losing so much money to this company and to these people that live here that we deserve, and we have been here as a staple of your community for years, and you need to do something about this. That could be it. I don't know, but I feel like that's probably a big portion of it. There's got to be lobbying that's happening for the hotel industry to say, hey, you need to stop this because Airbnb is taking over. And now all these small time investors are making money where we as hotel owners should be making the money. We as the corporate owners should be making the money. So now you're crushing the small investors. And so is that a good move? In my opinion, no. I mean, I think that everybody should flourish on any way that they can in making money. I get it as a homeowner. I get it as a condo owner that you might not want that. And that's what a lot of condo buildings do is they stop it. The condo building says, no, you're not allowed to do that. But to do it on a citywide basis is pretty harsh.
You said follow the money. The first thing is the tenants, the people looking to rent a long-term property, a long-term rental in New York City. It's got to be the most difficult thing in the world. And then when you're telling me that AirDNA says there's like 20,000 Airbnbs out there, is that maybe 20,000 or 15,000 apartments that aren't available for your people that want to live in New York City full time? And
good point.
The landlord, they have their, taxes and fees that they need to pay. And, I'm as an Airbnb owner, I like this. And it's not just because my Airbnb won't be, I don't have an Airbnb in New York City, but the regulation, the city needs to be making money on these Airbnbs. And if people are not reporting their taxes, if these are going unregulated, we've seen the TikToks, maybe even on this show, where someone had an Airbnb and they opened up the curtain and there was just a restaurant. They were inside of a restaurant. It was like a back room of a restaurant. So there's so much unregulation and bait and switch that happens in Airbnb, and you hear the horror stories. And when you compare that to hotels, at the end of 2019, there were about 138,000 hotel rooms in New York City. I don't think Airbnb is I think Airbnb is kind of like the Chihuahua, like nipping on the heels of like a Great Dane. Mm-hmm. The Great Dane is just like, okay, yeah, this little pipsqueak is coming after me. But I think the bigger issue is the money that the city could be getting from these 15 or 20,000 Airbnbs that, maybe they're getting from some of them, but not all of them. And then the tenants, the people that actually live in these cities that aren't able to find affordable or market rate apartments just because a lot of the inventory is maybe purchased by someone looking to make some money.
Well, I'm not an Airbnb owner at this time. I don't know how the money is siphoned from Airbnb, but you being an Airbnb person, aren't they already taxing you? Aren't they taking taxes from this? They have to be taking them on a local level and a
Sometimes.
a nationwide level.
Sometimes, but then you're running a business, so you have to report the taxes to the IRS. And then what if you don't report
shouldn't
the taxes?
Airbnb be sending a form to the IRS and to you at the same time?
Yeah, but that doesn't stop you from not doing that. From not filing those taxes.
But then the IRS is going to come after you. I mean, that's the thing. So I would think that is pretty well regulated in that regard right there. I mean, you should be making the money off of the Airbnbs if there's taxes already in that. So there's got to be something bigger than that. And I'll go maybe on the opposite side of you on the rental side and the long-term rentals. Yeah, okay, we might need more rentals. And you know what? A couple of years ago, my brother actually moved to New York City, and we went and I just helped him look at places. I'm not a licensed realtor in New York, but we were just going to look at places. And a lot of times they'd be like, oh yeah, there's a lockbox downstairs. Just go ahead and help yourself and go look at it. And there wasn't many on the market, and they were very expensive naturally. But now this goes to say, all right, well, what if these 20,000 rentals come back on the market and those people are used to a certain amount of money per month? Aren't they just going to say, well, I can't afford to put it on the market for, $3,000 a month. I need $5,000 a month. So, okay, here you go. They're $5,000 a month. And now, okay, they're available, but is that going to actually create ease that situation, or is it going to make it harder because things are more expensive? I don't know. I'm just speculating. You know what I mean? Like, will the cost go up, or will these 20,000 units come on and saturate the market? I don't know.
Either way, more supply is a good thing. And the sad part is that people are going to get caught in the crosshairs. Like you're going to hear these mom and pop stories about how people's entire incomes, maybe it's someone on disability, maybe it's someone in school or working 2 jobs or between jobs that have been renting out maybe the other side of their duplex, and this falls into that, or maybe a bedroom, or maybe, they leave town on the weekends so people can rent it out. And I don't know what to say to that individual, because when Airbnb comes in, they just do whatever they want, and then the hammer falls and it goes in the complete opposite direction. And you could say, hey, they found a solution. You can live there and rent it out while you're still living there, and have a 30-day minimum rental. But let's be honest. I mean, people are coming into New York City for a weekend, for a long week. I mean, I love New York City, but after the 3rd or 4th day, I'm like, yo, there's so much trash in this city.
God,
it just
disgusting.
Stinks all the time. It just smells like urine and burnt pizza. And I love New York City, but after the 3rd or 4th day, I'm like,
out.
Get me back to DC, a nice clean city that is much easier. So that I think we're going to see people in the crosshairs, but overall, this is a good thing. Airbnbs do not belong in big cities. There's already a solution for that. It's called hotel. I don't want to go to your dingy apartment, go around like the emergency fire stairwell to find a lockbox, and then I have to avoid making eye contact with the front reception person and say, no, I'm just visiting my friend. I don't want to have to illegally stay at some random apartment in New York City. I'd rather stay at the Hyatt, stay at the Park South Hyatt in Kips Bay, and have a nice bagel.
Well, if these Airbnbs if they're illegal anyways, if the condo association isn't allowed to, you're not allowed to do it, which in Arlington, you can't find a building that will allow an Airbnb. So if that's the case, and this is the case in New York City, okay, they're cracking down on it on a higher level because you're not obeying the rules and regulations of that condo. And I 100% agree. I would never personally go into an Airbnb. I'm going to a hotel in New York City. And even the hotels sometimes aren't that great,
Well, St. Mark's Place. Yeah. I would use an Airbnb what is my use case? Do I need a single room in a big city for a weekend? Okay, yeah, obviously hotels have got that figured out. I'm going to get a hotel. But if I have a wife, if I have 2 kids, if I have a dog, if I'm going out to a country for not out of the country, but out into suburbia for a wedding or something, yeah, I don't want to stay in a 1-room hotel. Or if I'm booking 2 or 3 rooms, let me just, rent a house out there. And, I'm kind of talking back against myself because, there's a lot of places where that Airbnbs don't belong. And, certainly neighborhoods should certainly have restrictions. And I don't know if that means, you can only rent out your house for X number of nights per year, or you can only have insert other regulation here. But my next question to you, Shawn, is if New York City's doing it, what's going to be the next city to do it? Because I got to imagine other cities are just waiting for a bigger city to show them the roadmap, and then they're just going to follow that roadmap.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot of following on this, unfortunately. I don't think it's right. I mean, again, I could go back and forth on the issues on this, but you and I actually stayed in an Airbnb, a really nice Airbnb in Miami,
yeah.
right? So Miami might be the next one, but I don't know. I mean, like, Florida's a whole different way about them.
Miami welcomed us with open arms.
Open arms, man. It was great. And that's the thing is, like, I wouldn't have personally chosen. I mean, when we were there, I was like, this place is sick. It's awesome. And you know what? It had plenty of space. It was probably more affordable than all of us getting a hotel room. And yeah, we were in the same living space, but we all had our own bedroom. And we were in a killer place on like the 23rd floor overlooking the water. It was great. So why are you squashing that in that regard? And that's the problem that I might have. We didn't get any flack by going to use it. And I think actually, wasn't it part a hotel too?
Yeah. It was like part hotel, part apartment, part
so crazy,
condo, and like so many other units in the building were rented out on Airbnb. But that's Brickell for you, right? And Brickell booms and busts. But would love to know your thoughts in the comments if you think Airbnbs belong in big cities, because I think they should be heavily regulated. Well, I think they should be regulated everywhere, but especially in big cities where housing affordability is an issue. And again, I feel like a hypocrite because, last week I said, like, just because a couple of Airbnbs go on the market, then prices won't come down. I think more housing supply is a good thing. I think you can have these two separate thoughts and not be a hypocrite. I think less Airbnbs in big cities, more housing supply in big cities. I
mean, it's a good thing in some regards, but taking somebody's livelihood away or taking somebody's income away is not good. And I feel that, there are a lot of laws against the owners and for the tenant. Like in DC, there's like tenants have all the rights, and the owners don't. And so they can be taken advantage of. And I just feel like, the more and more we pressure these, the more and more people are going to say, all right, well, I can't do this anymore. I'm out. Then who's going to buy them? I don't know. I mean, like, does this open up for more corporate purchases? That's what I don't want to see is the big players squashing out the mom and pops, pulling them in, like that's like, I want to see individual ownership. That's what creates wealth. And I want everybody to have that wealth. And Grant Cardone would say opposite, but don't buy that first house. But I think that's the way you build wealth. And, that's how I've built and am able to afford what I have. Right. I mean, like, so I don't know. I can go either way.
Do you want your neighbors in your apartment complex running Airbnbs and having rowdy guests?
No, I don't. I got to be honest. And that's why I go back and forth. Right. I mean, if your building had already allowed it or your subdivision had already allowed it and you bought that place for the reason of doing that, and then all of a sudden they come back and say, you know what, no more. Well, then what do? You're kind of stuck. And I guess that's the risk you take when you purchase property, right? You have to have a second way and say, all right, well, these numbers will work through Airbnb. They'll work through, monthly rental, or they'll just rent, or I can pay them, right? I'm good with that. So it's something to think about. I'm definitely looking at purchasing a property, like I've mentioned, and we are purchasing it to be able to afford it on a monthly basis, but supplemental income would be nice. And we probably will Airbnb this. And so that's what I'm banking on.
What are the jurisdictions that would have control over possible use cases for the property? So in New York City, it's the city. Where you're looking to buy, is it a state? Is it a city? Is it a township? Is it an HOA? Is it
all of those? Yeah, I mean, like, there's an HOA, but the HOA allows them. This is a vacation area, so I think vacation areas are going to be a lot more open to this because that's how they live. That's how it's been. Now, I could see the area I'm looking in start cracking down on it because some people may not want that. But this is how that place has been run for a long time. So you have the HOA, you have the town that could squash it, and then you have the state that could do it too. So there's three three areas that it could happen, but hopefully it doesn't.
Yeah, I figure your HOA is going to get it figured out.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's move on to in or out, whether Shawn battles in or out on 3 properties across the United States. Shawn, let's start in Colorado for a $68 million ranch. 2-mile ranch of Woody Creek, Colorado. Dates back to the 1880s and the Natal family. 2 Mile is a return to Aspen's past and one of the greatest ranches left in the Roaring Fork Valley. Located at the upper end of the Woody Creek Valley, the 244-acre ranch is surrounded and protected by pastures and national forests, a time capsule to the open spaces enjoyed by the original Western settlers. It is a true legacy compound with 7 homes, each with a unique style.
Wow.
Shawn, $68 million, 22 total bedrooms, 26 bathrooms, 22,000 square feet total living space. Are you in or out on 2 Mile Ranch?
So the ranch, what is it used for? I mean, do they have cattle or anything like that there?
I'm not sure, but what I do love is, check this out. We have paragraphs in the listing description. I don't see this often. Can Bright do this? Does Bright allow paragraph breaks?
I don't know, because you know what? I don't think so, because I put them in as breaks, and I don't think they ever show up as breaks, but it should be.
Sometimes on HomeSnap, which I guess is now Homes, but on HomeSnap, it'll show paragraphs, but in the Bright MLS, it won't.
Yeah.
Strange. You can make the ranch your own with, if you're into equestrian, if you're into snowmobiling, horses, bicycles, ATVs. I don't think there's actual ranching like cattle, if that's what you're looking into, but yeah, it's 246 acres in Colorado.
Pretty cool.
You got some sheep.
Yeah, there's some sheep there. You got a lot of stuff going on.
Pickleball court.
Oh.
I spy a pickleball court.
We're going to start playing pickleball at my street. My neighbor was like, hey, I got the net. And I'm like, all right, let's start. So you're going to see us out there.
Let me know when I'm invited.
Yeah, Matt, I think, you know what? I think I'm going to buy this ranch. I'm going to buy it because, you know what? I want to preserve this. I want to keep it the way it is. I have $150 million that I need to spend pretty soon. And I'm going to put this $68 million and I'm going to purchase it. There's 7 houses there. I'm going to, give one to each of my family members, and we're all going to sit on this ranch, and we're never going to work again. And we're just going to go fish and raise cattle and start living off the fat of the land, I think. So that's my next phase of life. I'm purchasing this property.
Well, you're going to have to let me get one of those houses because I am also in.
Oh, okay.
Hopefully not this small house. This house looks more like an office, but
yeah.
This is just so cool. I mean, this one has the bed coming out of the window.
See?
You got 7 structures.
I knew I purchased a good one.
I got to go to Colorado. This looks fantastic. I mean, these pictures are incredible. Great job by the listing agent. Everything about this just screams nature, outdoors, peaceful. I mean, 245 acres. There's not going to be a soul in sight. That would be amazing.
That's great.
We will have to switch out the sport court on the pickleball court to something better because the physics of the ball and the dynamics don't really bounce too well on the pickleball court.
I got it.
So we can work that into the contract.
Yeah, I think it's great property, man.
Let's move on to our next property in Palmdale, California for $1.5 million. Shawn, I don't know how to describe this house. It almost looks like bleacher seating, if you will, almost like stadium seating. But when you live in a house like this, the listing description says you'll discover that you enjoy being at home more than anywhere else in the world. 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, indoor swimming pool at the top of a hill in California. And I think you got about 6,000 square feet of living space. Shawn, are you in or out on this unique California house?
Yeah, it is very unique. It looks like a commercial building from the one side, right? It looks like it's an office building that steps up. But the other side of it is absolutely gorgeous.
How many cars do you think you could fit in that driveway area?
Oh my gosh, like 30 of them. There's also a 3-car garage or something like that?
We got some garage. We got a garage.
We got some garages. We got an indoor pool. We got fantastic views.
Spiral staircase.
Windows, like decks off the back overlooking. I mean, that thing, how much is that?
1.5.
1.5 million? That's it?
6,000 square feet, 5 beds, 7 baths.
That thing just looks enormous. Doesn't it look huge?
When you
get that panned out thing, it looks huge. So for 1.5 million, I mean, it's in California. I don't know where the heck that is, but I think it's a steal. Honestly, I'm buying it. You?
So I'm out. I'm out on this just because when you look and they're bragging about the view.
Yeah.
The view is of the lake. Okay.
Sure.
So you can look out on the lake and you look out at all the other people having fun. And then you're like, I want to have fun. I want to go to the lake. And then wait a second, there's an interstate in between the lake. So you look out over a lake at people having fun, and then you look out at an interstate. That's not fun.
Yeah.
That's not a
I hear you, man.
$1.5 million view.
I usually am on your side on that because I always want to be on the water. But man, like, you know what? Sometimes being on the water isn't the greatest, Matt. And are there homes on that water? I'm trying to play devil's advocate.
Yeah. but you, okay, so you see the value in the 1.5.
I do. I think it's worth 1.5. I mean, that's a really good price for the square footage in California. I don't know Palmdale, California. I don't even know where that is, what city it's near, but but for 1.5 for 6,000 square feet up on a hill, and the property looks amazing, I'm buying. I think it's a deal.
Well, it's been on the market for 150 days.
Damn it.
And so I don't know if people are seeing it as a deal. You know, they were originally listed in 2019 for 1.8 million, 2020 for 1.65, 2022 1.75, 2022 1.6, 1.5, 1.4, 1.3 in October of 2022. Came back. I don't know how it increased in value by $200,000. It increased in value by $200,000 over the winter.
That brings up a good point. And this is always the hard thing to do is like when you do renovations to a property and then you increase the price and people are still going to see the history of a property and you're going to be like, well, why in the heck did you increase it $200,000? Did you really put 200 grand into that? Or do you think that it just went up? Can you scroll back up and see what they originally paid for it? Because there was like a 600,000 down, I should say.
Down.
$600,000.
Someone paid $600,000 in
96.
But what did it look like in 1996? Was it the whole house?
Well, and that's the thing is 1996 at 600,000. That's a lot of money in 1996 for that property. So you have to think that it increased in value and it's worth that. So it's puzzling to me that it's not sold. But then there you go. You should do your research before you purchase a property to see what the local comparables are. And apparently it's not worth it. So I just overspent on this one, but I like it. You know, I have enough money. I'm just going to buy it anyways.
Let's move on to our last property. This comes to us from Camano Island, Washington, $295,000. Shawn, I don't know what to call this. This is a rare opportunity to own this whimsical rustic play structure on a 1 acre lot backing to the Camano Island State Park's networks of trails and 6,700 square feet of water front. I don't think the house, the structure is on 6,700 square feet of waterfront, but the park is. So you essentially have a dome house. It almost looks like a Star Wars type of situation. It's inside, maybe call it like Fred Flintstone.
That is crazy.
You have one bed, one bath, 590 square feet. Apparently you can sleep up to 5 people in here somehow. You have the circular windows, the rounded archways leading into the kitchen. It barely looks like it has plumbing. It barely looks like it has electricity. Kind of a cavernous type Hobbit-esque feel to it. You got some bunk bed situations and a loft. Shawn, let's see, and then of course you have the shower on the outside. Shawn, for $295,000, are you in or out on the rustic play structure?
This is a very interesting property, Matt. All right. There are a couple of questions I have. Could you keep scrolling through those pictures? This is one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. It looks like a beehive, right? Like
yes,
something like
that's
a beehive.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder what an acre out there costs. And does it actually have water frontage? I didn't see any. So
it doesn't have water frontage.
Yeah.
There's you have to walk to the park to have water frontage.
Yeah. I'm out on this one, Matt. I mean, it's definitely unique, but I don't want to live in a beehive. I don't want to have to shower outside, especially in Washington State, right? Is that where that is?
Washington State.
It's going to be a cold shower.
How do the pipes not freeze?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think this is just created by somebody that...
And then there's a bathtub. Do you take a bath outside? No one takes a bath outside.
Weird,
do people take baths outside?
No.
I don't take a bath outside.
I don't either. I don't take baths.
You don't take baths?
No, I don't.
What about like when you're on vacation?
No, definitely not.
You don't get in a bath mood in vacation?
Because it's somebody else's tub, right? I would only do it on my own tub unless it was like scoured clean. But
when was the last time you took a bath?
Oh man, probably when I was like 12.
So like
I can
a handful of years ago.
I can a handful, a couple handfuls,
handfuls of years.
I can honestly say I haven't taken a bath in decades.
In decades.
Now I've been in a hot tub, but I have not sat in a bath.
You
know what?
You haven't drawn a bath?
Because you know what? We have this.
Shawn, you have so much stress. I think you need to draw a bath.
I think I do. You know what, Matt? I'm going to do this.
Get a bath bomb.
Did you ever see the bath in my? We have a nice bath in our thing, but only our kids use it. You know, it's funny. It's like we have a bath in our primary bedroom bathroom. We have a tub and a separate shower, and we have plenty of other bathrooms, but everybody showers in our bathroom. You know, everybody goes in there, and the kids, tub in the tub. So I have never been in our tub. It's crazy.
You've never been in the tub of the house that you bought?
I've never been in it.
Well, you got to break it. I mean, I guess the kids have already broken in the tub, but you got to break in the tub.
I got to get all the toys out and like all the.
You keep the toys.
Maybe you know what? Maybe I'm gonna play with a boat in the tub.
Lock the doors. Put on like some fishing YouTube videos. Maybe like get like an IPA or something.
Yeah, you're onto something.
All right, so I'm out. This is disgusting. This is ugly. This is stupid. This is dumb. I hate everything about it.
Wow, how nice of you, Matt.
Yeah, it's not for me. I don't like how cavernous it is. I don't like the aesthetics. I don't like that Washington State is cold for a long time of the year. There's so many things that I despise about this property, and for those reasons, I'm out.
Yeah, I have to agree with you, Matt. I think that's a good choice. It's basically like you saying maybe glamping a little bit, right?
It is. It looks like it's on a campsite.
Yeah.
It just looks like someone decided to put these dumb domes on a campsite and plumb a shower and call it a day.
Yeah. I love it, though. It was a good find. Good find, Matt.
Thank you. All right, well, let us know what you think if you're in or out, and then if you have any thoughts, we'd love to hear them in the comment section down below. And for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Take care.